Hello everybody. Today I just wanted to kind of highlight how I play StarCraft 2, just to kind of give a sense as to what direction I like to go with things. I don't know specific build orders yet. I've been consistently a diamond player in this game. I just want to kind of give you my mentality as I play and just general thoughts. Like in the beginning, things are pretty strict because if you don't do them exactly, you can die to just stupid cheese early and stuff. So while I am pretty strict early, things get kind of lax later. So initially you need to make your initial probe always, all that stuff. I have no idea what race I'm fighting. It's random, so that should probably help. So generally, if you're not fighting Zerg, you want your first probe to go to the ramp. Not at the ramp, but make sure your pylon covers just barely the ramp like that. That way your pylon's not part of the ramp, because if the pylon's part of your ramp, that's an essential building that can be killed easily. It has low health, it is part of your supply, and it can power your building. So if they kill that at the wall with like a Baneling bust or their primary units, you just lose it. So then you want a gateway on one of the two exact corners so that units can't get through here, this little crack. And then you want to get a first gas. And I'm making probes this entire time. Around this time I can even chrono boost if I want. So I scout with my probe, I see it's Zerg, and I'm looking for a spawning pool. If I see a spawning pool, then I'm in trouble. I need to get on the defensive. There's no spawning pool yet, but there's also no expansion. You want to go for either one of the two, an expansion or a spawning pool. Spawning pool means aggression, which there it is. And a second base means they want to go for more economic, and they can't get units out to kill you early, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Now, this is a spawning pool, but it is an easy AI, so I'm probably not going to have to worry about an attack regardless, but I'm just for the sake of the video, I'm going to just go ahead and get the cyber core as soon as my gateway finishes and put it so that there's a hole right here in the ramp. And since we're pretending that they're attacking, I'm going to get a zealot and rally it to this hole. So the gateway's going to rally the zealot into this little crack, and I'm going to press H when he comes out, and he is going to protect me, basically. I can get a second gateway now. I probably should have had that a little earlier, but I was talking. But yeah, two gateways. I put it on a hotkey, rally them both to the ramp just because Cybercore's about to finish. I can get a second gas just because, again, I can do whatever the fuck I want. Protoss, warp gate, chrono boost that shit. And at 100 gas, I'll go ahead and throw down a robo as well, because robo is really nice against Zerg. And I can also go ahead and throw out a second unit too. I'll get an adept just because I can afford it. I can kind of cut probes at this point and throw down a third gate. If the Zerg's gonna be on one base doing nonsense, which this bot probably is for a long time, you're just gonna be on one base as well. One base Protoss will be a one base Zerg. Fun fact.
What do you lack in minerals? You make up for in charge.
So we don't need to expand. We just need to hold the line until he expands. Occasionally we want to scout the army and not get supply blocked. So now I'm going to send out another probe and click on his mineral line so I can walk through any unit collision. And I can go ahead and throw out an observer too, because if he gets anything that burrows or any cheese bullshit, we'll have an observer to see invisible things. That's really important. I'm cranking out random units this whole time just to have army supply. You know, you don't need to care about what necessarily as much as you just make units. Now, some of them should be ranged, so like, yeah, I'm not making a ton of zealots, because if I get kited by roaches, it's going to be a fucking nightmare, right? Immortals are really good against roaches, so I'm going to pump one out and chrono boost it right now. My warp gate's about to finish. Alright, so I scouted a bunch of Zerglings, so I can just go ahead and, I mean, really make anything. One base Zergling, you can get zealots, stalkers, adepts, whatever, honestly. A 3-gate robo is a pretty okay one base opener. Based on what I saw, I'm pretty sure I can just go on the offensive here. I even have my immortal finishing up here. I'm gonna go ahead and get a warp prism too, so I can continue my offensive. As soon as that comes out, I can start warping in across the map, which basically ruins his home field advantage. That's the whole Protoss gimmick with the warp prism. Can start doing little micro things with my army now. So the Zergling, that's some value, right? My probe is coming too, because I wanted to build a pylon over there until I remembered that warp prisms exist. Pylon timing impeccable as ever. Gonna get another one over here too, just for extra space. Alright, my army is now fighting. I want my zealots in front. This isn't a huge deal, but I'm good at this game, so I can do stuff like that. I mean, I'm not that good. I'm not God, but you know. This is for the noobs. So the Zerglings are dead. The Zealots pretty much tanked everything. The Immortals crushed the Roach. Stalkers can now begin reaping havoc on their supplies because Zerg's supply unit is called the Overlord, the flying thing, and Stalkers hit the air. Cool. And everyone else can kill everything else. They're all dying. The Warp Prism is still at the base because my rally point was fucked. So, you know what? Pylon in his base. Why not? And this is also how I make up for mistakes like live in the middle of the game, is I'll just, oh, I forgot this, well, better build the pylon here then while the warp prism's coming because I can't wait because I'm impatient. Now say you're not killing them entirely but you're doing good damage here and you let a bunch of minerals accumulate, you can just go ahead and throw down a second base and a pylon just cause like, oh, I forgot it, whatever. Warp prism's finally here. Hit E to put it in that mode. You can instantly warp in. I don't use W because I'm an idiot. So that warps in much faster than a proxy pylon, as you can see. If you want to know about super pylons, you can either Google it, or I can tell you right now. You can like add a gateway, or if your pylon's near a nexus, then your pylon will warp in units much faster. See how slow this is? And see how fast warp prisms is? Because the warp prism counts as a super pylon. The Zealot is trying his hardest to warp in, but he can't because he's garbage. He didn't come from the super warp prism. Okay? And the Zealot's finally here, and the time it took me to warp in 2 Stalkers. Amazing. So anyway, this is a 1 base rush kind of with 3 gates and a robo. Kind of cheesy because, I mean, your expansion's really late. So say the enemy does hold off your attack, you might just insta lose, which is sad. Well, not insta, it's kind of a slow, painful death because you're just choked, starved for economy until he kills you with a big army and you're like, oh, I got zerged, win. Nah, just get good, right? So that was one thing. I guess I should be picking the races. This time I'll be picking Zerg again, but I'll show you how to actually wall off against Zerg. Because again, I said that wall was for every race but Zerg, and I happened to get Zerg. So let's just go ahead and make it Zerg again. So that wall is good at protecting your main, but against Zerg, you want to take your second much earlier. Unfortunately, Zerg does get that economic advantage early as opposed to the other races. So you need to wall off your second and protect it with your freaking life. So starting this up again, same old opener, but the pylon and gateway and all that other stuff's placement will be different. That's all. Timings are about the same. Still want to scout, still want to, you know, do all the normal stuff. Make your initial probes. Okay. So take your first probe and kind of move them out to the ramp. If you don't know where the ramp is, you can click on the enemy's base on the minimap and your probe will automatically path. So this little choke point you see here, you're probably going to want to put your pylon about there. Don't block the nexus though. It has a nice little diamond pattern that shows where where your nexus goes, so try not to put it in here. Okay, so you can see this is probably where your choke's going to be. It protects your second base and your main at the same time because there's only one way into both. So you get a gateway protecting here, make sure there's no one that can get in through that. Get your first gas, chrono boost. Nah, I should be scouting as well. The whole last game thing, yeah, I should have had a probe out there already to scout for either spawning pool or a second base. But since it's an AI, I wasn't worried, so I got a little too comfortable. But for the sake of learning, my bad. 3 probes on that as soon as it finishes. Keep making workers. Gateway's coming up. So here's the big turning point, right? So at this moment, you're about to either throw down a cyber core or a nexus, and you don't know until you scout. Now I'm gonna assume my probe's not even there yet. He should be there though. If he has this base, then you're gonna want to take the nexus first. So you get nexus next. Set the rally point, add it to your nexus hotkey. Okay. Now unfortunately I scouted a spawning pool, so this nexus is scary to make because I can just die. Cyber core, you just kind of want to make your buildings kind of like angled down like this. For the same reasons. So here we make our gateway, and now our choke point is here. So your unit blocking the ramp is going to be here. Now say they had a spawning pool, you would definitely want to put on second pylon, keep making probes. You would definitely want to have a zealot here, like ASAP, chrono boost it if you see the spawning pool. But I'm not worried, it's an easy AI, whatever. My second gate should have been earlier too, because my scout should have been out earlier, but I was trying to teach. So you should be having 2 adepts coming out right now. The pylon should already be done here, but again, just trying to teach. So you can also take your second gas. So there should be 2 adepts like almost out here, but unfortunately I am Really bad teacher. So yeah, chrono boost both of these. Nexus is coming up. Set your rally points to this Nexus.
The firstborn shall persevere.
Alright, so let's pretend these adepts are both out at the same time, but this one is taking a while. Because again, I screwed up. Get some probes on that. Okay. So, first two adepts, clump them up, a move, and press F and left click on the map towards their base. Leave them alone for now, they're just traveling. Look how fast they go. Look at this. Adepts are sick. Alright. So we just keep making probes, we're getting double income, and now we can add more gates. I probably should be using... Oh, sorry. A gate? This is safe for me, at least. Gate, Twilight, Robo. All that. Oh shit. Okay, I kind of screwed this up too. Press F, click on their mineral line, kite backwards. I wasn't supposed to lose all that, but I did. Yeah. Bad teacher. So there is a tech pattern that you can go that has nothing to do with say, keep making stalkers, by the way. Like another thing I screwed up because I can't talk as fast as I'm playing. But yeah, so you can go Stargate and harass with oracles with the adepts as well.
Your research is done.
Here on the Twilight, you can go for either blink for some cheeky micro, which I'll do this game just for fun, but just because I've been building stalkers. More gas and a pylon. Okay, so at this point you want an observer for the same reason as last time, because you don't want to get hit by any early cheese or anything ridiculous. And since we've decided finally that we're gonna go stalkers come out of gateway, so we're gonna get 2 more of those. Probably get more than that, honestly. This is 5 total. I could probably have like 6 or 7, but we're not gonna overwhelm you. So the observer is actually a really important factor in this build. And again, I say build term loosely because like this isn't really a proper build. I'm just kind of winging it here. But once you have a good number of stalkers that you can like move out without needing to worry about protecting your base, which by the way, if an attack was coming, you can get a shield battery here at your wall to help protect you. It'll recover the shields on your units that are defending at the wall, which is a nice to have. Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep warping in more and more stalkers just cause. Literally just cause. That is my reasoning. And you can A move somewhere towards the side of their base, because what blink allows you to do is to go in places that most units would not. So like usually Zerg will be protecting themselves here, you know, somewhere leading into their base, normal defense stuff, right? But they don't have defense over here on the side. You can't blink over high ground. Fortunately, we got a robo with this too, so we can make an observer.
Let's hope you
Blink just finished, and so what we can do now is some harass. So we have a good number of stalkers. The observer lets us see on the high ground, and all I'm gonna do is get him really close to this wall and hit B and click. I blinked in. I am now attacking without having to worry about anything, any defenses at the front. And so like this fight's going really well. I'm probably gonna win the entire game off of this attack, but say it's going badly, you can just kind of dip out by just blinking back down. And you save your units, you get good value, you're making probes the whole time. You can even take a third behind this because they're stuck at home defending. Make an immortal because we scouted roaches, and immortals are the counter to roaches. You can even throw up double forge to get some upgrades for your units to make them stronger. Very cool. And yeah, you can just keep coming in and out with this harass. Just make sure you have vision on the high ground. A cool little technique, and this isn't for the newbies, this is more for the advanced players, but a technique you can use if like you don't think all your stalkers are going to be able to blink over at the same time. So like see how some are in the back that can't reach over here, like I hit blink, see how like 2, 3 get left out down here on the bottom. You can queue up this command using shift. So this is one of my favorite ways to micro, little secret hidden technique. Attack, shields, another immortal, more stalkers. There's a fucking Ling in my base because I didn't keep the wall fortified. Okay, so you hold shift, right? Hold shift, right click towards the wall, exactly where you want them to get close to, and then B, left click over the wall. It's supposed to be much faster than that, but
Your base has some uninvited guests.
oh no, my third is unprotected. I forgot. But yeah, so that's a little secret tech I have. So you hold shift again, right click to the ramp, B, left click down, and you can even right click after that so they can keep walking. It looks seamless. One of them still got left out there somehow, but yeah. So you can practice that on your own if you want to learn the blink stalker tech.
Wow, you mined all those minerals already. Look
more
at you.
Probes and nonsense. Shield batteries are nice. Cannon.
That needs to go
Another
fast,
pylon, so
Bill.
they don't just kill one and kill everything. This is a super pylon because the pylon is at the nexus again, so that is important to know. That is how those warped in so fast. More immortals. Yeah, so I mean, again, these AI hella easy, so don't worry about any of that stuff. But this is the general building placement you want, and then you can have the choke like covered with like a stalker or an adept or even a zealot. If they're attacking really early, you can get the early zealot. You want charge by this point too, just so they can't like make a counter to stalkers and win the game. You want to be able to have variety, so like you don't just go mass stalker and not get charge, because yeah, eventually you could get swarmed by like a lot of zerglings. Zerglings counter stalkers pretty hard, so you'll want to have that variety. You don't just want to go all one thing usually. Another way to blink micro stalkers. Let me just keep the stalkers in here. So like, see these lings are attacking, right? Say my front stalkers get low. So like these stalkers on the right side, which are at the quote front of the fight, because the lings are on the right. If they're fighting, you can just kind of click and drag a little bit of the front and blink and click backwards and then A move back in. Do that over and over. That is blink stalker micro in a nutshell. So that's the stuff I have to do. So the stalkers that are low in the front, as soon as they're about to die, you just blink it back and then A move it right back in. And try not to click on your own stalkers too. You can A move into your own shit and kill it. So this is blink stalker micro. Yeah, that's generally the gist for this kind of build. Yeah, this thing really wanted a Hydra then. It made two. So that's the gist. So against Protoss and Terran, you get that wall off on the initial first base ramp. And then that I taught you guys how to do a one base kind of all-in attack with 3 gateways and a robo. The reason we don't add on more gates is just because you don't have the money on one base to supply that many. So you're literally costing yourself units for a building you can't even use. So if you have 4 gateways and a robo, you're not going to be using one of those buildings, whether it's the robo or one of those gates. So understanding how much you can afford on a certain amount of bases is really important. That's why we only get a couple gateways when we're on one base, but once we start getting our income up on the second base and we start getting some probes, we can add on much more gates, a robo, a twilight council, all that stuff. We get a lot more for 2 base. So that is the logic behind everything. So against Terran, I mean, I didn't really show the adept harass micro that well because, I mean, these AI like to get a lot of early units, which usually Zergs that have 2 bases won't have that many, so you get away with a lot more drone kills. You want to shift and right click on each drone with both adepts, because 2 adepts, one adept 2 shots a drone, so 2 adepts 1 shot drones. So you just kind of walk in behind their mineral line by pressing F and shading into the back when they get close, like at the second base about. Then yeah, you can just start holding shift and right clicking on each of their drones, and as long as you do plenty of damage, you can let them die for all we care. We don't have to micro that hard. And yeah, getting damage done on the Zerg's drone line is a big deal. Big deal. But this will be against Terran. Usually they'll have their front walled, and so fighting AI here is also going to be not that great of an example. I wish I had a training dummy with me right now, but everyone's asleep. But yeah. So against Terran, you don't want to get adepts usually, at least that early, because they, first of all, they 3-shot SCVs. SCVs have more health at the cost of not having shields to recharge or health to recharge or regen. SCVs, when they get hit, they keep the damage unless they get repaired, which costs money. So against Terran, we want a wall, same place at this first ramp. And we can go scout with the first probe. We don't have to, but I'm just trying to teach you guys good habits. So scout. Usually you can scout after the first gateway, but yeah, scouting earlier is good too. You can hold shift also and like right click on the side, hold shift and just kind of like go in a circle around the base so you get some good information instead of just letting it die instantly. First gateway's late, might be, sorry about that. Also, you don't even need to wall against Terran, but I'm just trying to teach you guys good habits. First gas after the first gate. So you can see the probes walking around in a circle now because we held shift. We got a view of a gas and a barracks. We can go ahead and throw down a second gate too because we're going to do some pretty early harass. So instead of adepts, we're going to go to stalkers instead. Okay, we can remember our probe because we're not doing anything right now. We're literally just waiting for the gateway, making more probes, not too complicated. So yeah, we can just make sure we keep our probe safe on the other side of the map. All I do is left click on the mini map to find them. I don't even need a hotkey. Okay, Cybercore goes down, another pylon because we're gonna need that supply. And we're gonna rally these two gateways out to the ramp. I mean, we could literally rally them here if we want. So if this is walled, which it's not for this guy, but say this is walled off the front, we want to just rally them to the ramp, a little high up the ramp, because they're not going to be able to walk in. So the AI is going to get all stuck. If you right click into the base, the stalkers might just walk here and just stay here because they can't go up the ramp anyway. The AI is pretty silly with that. Two stalkers, chrono boost both. I didn't have a hotkey. And then warp gate after because you're not going to have enough gas for all of them. And with this, you can do something behind it. So you can either keep the aggression and get more gates here, or you can expand behind this. The first two stalkers will do good damage and keep him at home.
My liege, the coppers lack minerals. What do you lack in minerals?
Okay, I'm just going to A move to the ramp. Gonna pylon at the second base. And now a defensive stalker. Because, you know, Reaper could be in here chilling, doing damage or whatever. Which is annoying. We're just gonna make a couple more units and a second gas because gas is important. The two stalkers are almost there. So now here at the ramp, usually we'll be attacking like supply depots. Marines can be kited, so don't forget to like micro them. Like you can just walk backwards. The Marine has to keep walking forward. Wait for your attack cooldown because stalker's attack cooldown is kind of slow. Then you start doing damage to the mineral line. And here you can like either keep microing, hit your Nexus hotkey and keep making workers. A couple more units. And then I'll throw down a robo as soon as I get this gas saturated. Holy crap. Alright, so I haven't lost any stalkers yet. Alright, here's a Marine. Move our units down now that we have our second. So we're doing a lot of damage here.
Research is done. Let's hope you click the right one.
So he's broke now. Say like, okay, he has enough to defend this. Just bring your units back home. You've done the damage. Two more warp gates. All right. Now from here, we scouted only barracks units. So we can try to tech into Colossus. But before then, we want to be safe. Get a couple of shield batteries to help us defend. In case, because barracks units are early game units and tend to be really good at decimating Protoss gateway units. So we don't want too many stalkers now. We don't want to add a couple pylons. I kind of spaced them out so we can get more room to build in the base. I should have one here too. Keep making probes. So again, my explanations are coming at the cost of like my build timings being screwed up, so mind that. This is again generally how I play. Make a couple zealots because I want to save my gas for the Colossi. So I'm just making zealots at this point. And Twilight Council so I can get charge, because charge is generally really good against Protoss or against Terran too. Well, charge is good in general, but usually you don't want that many stalkers against Terran. Also, the blink stalker build from last game is also good against Terran. Just blink in, harass a bit, get out, stuff like that. But those are very micro heavy things that you shouldn't have to worry about too much. And again, these are like very basic. Like I'm not going to teach you guys how to like use psionic storm, disruptors, stuff like that. I'm just going to get you guys the A move units. Like I should be having you guys learn archons too, but see, the thing about archons, right? Is that they're usually best. I mean, they're again generally good units, but they're best against Zerg. Zerg has all biological units and all biological buildings, and archons do extra damage versus bio. So that's really nice to have. Adding some more gateways because I'm going to be able to crank out more zealots. Adding pylons because I want to get supply capped. I'm making a Colossus. I'm getting extended thermal lance at the robotics bay, which lets basically Colossi have extra range. It's really nice to have. I should have gotten Observer out before the Colossus while I'm waiting for the Robo Bay, but I am bad at teaching, so I forgot.
Out of minerals.
You should also have a forge for +1 attack. You don't need to yet. You can go for a timing attack here. Keep pumping out zealots because you're getting charge. Colossus. Chrono boost out this observer. Because Terran can make banshees, which are a cloaked air unit, and those can be really annoying to deal with. Generally around this time you want to take your third. Now I don't know where the third's supposed to be on this map, if it's here or up here. I'm just going to take this one because I don't know better.
I must insist. Your research is done. Don't forget the rest of them.
Alright, observers up, more zealots. Oops. Charge is already up. We're just waiting on the second Colossus. We can get +1 attack. Safety cannon in the back just so I can see if any banshees flying.
Your probe count is being downsized.
Found my probe. No. Be annoying. Oh, okay. There's the entire AI army. It got crushed by everything we have. And as soon as you kill some of their shit, you want to attack. I was going to attack anyway, but I was waiting on the Colossus. But we killed a lot of their stuff.
Mineral field. You're not gonna let that.
So we're just going to kind of go in. So this finished for some reason. I could have warped in here, but that's not what's going to happen in an actual game. So after 2 Colossi, I'm going to get a warp prism just because it's going to let me keep reinforcing across the map. But for now, I'm going to reinforce at home. I'm attacking. Lots of stuff is happening. Colossi have thermal lance, the zealots have charge. If there's tanks, the zealots will take care of it. Zealots are good against tank lines. Fun fact. So this is all happening. We don't want to watch too much. We want to make sure we're getting ahead behind this. Move some workers over because I was overcapped over here and over here too. So let's just move some over here. No, we don't accept surrender. We're not pussies. Another Colossus. Chrono boost the attack upgrade. We can get a second Forge now if we feel like it. Maybe a second Robo even. Or we can go Stargate. You know, or we can go DT. I mean, really, it's the world is your oyster now on 3 base. You can kind of get whatever the fuck you want now, except for carriers. Unless you're rushing, in which case, you know, you can do that too. Up to you. Just kind of wing it, you know. Do whatever the hell you feel like. So yeah, that's general. I'll go back to Zerg one more time just for the Protoss versus Protoss is kind of like Protoss versus Terran. You can kind of do the same things in it. There are a couple differences. Like at the very high level, you're gonna watch like people try to deny adepts from shading in by like building a pylon at their ramp to completely block, because adepts shade completely ignores unit collision. So like if you have a zealot at the ramp or a unit at the ramp, they can still get in your mineral line in the main and harass you. So they literally look for the shade, pylon off their base, and then cancel the pylon when the shade ends. Like crazy stuff like that. But we're not gonna learn any of that stuff. So we're gonna fight Zerg again just because I want to show you guys how Adept Micro actually works and how to go Stargate behind it. I'm not super good at this as I have learned this pretty recently, but it's fun to do damage, and if you can perfect this while macroing, it's really fun. Like StarCraft kind of is boring in the beginning because you just kind of build up an army, a move, and whoever has more units win. But at this stage, when you start getting better, you have to start doing damage safely.
Where are the minerals? I was told there would be minerals.
So instead of all-in gambling and then you lose the fight, you lose the game. Instead, we're gonna go for some safe harass. So we're fighting Zerg, so we know where the pylon goes. We want it to block this wall. We're gonna send that probe out to scout and bring another probe out to keep building because Last time I didn't have info. Now again, it's an AI, so it's gonna be God, what is it called? Spawning pool first. So I'll show you guys what to do against spawning pool first. Gateway, gas, more
Where are the
probes.
minerals? I was told there would be minerals.
So we're scouting. This is all the same. Oh, there's no hatchery there. Crazy. Oh, is he gonna build it soon? Oh, spawning pool. We found it. Oh God, he's not expanding. I'm gonna be annoying if the Zerg wants to expand. My probe's gonna be here just patrolling because I'm again obnoxious. 3 probes on gas. Look at him go. You're not taking your second base. Now, sometimes they might trick you, not take their second and immediately take their third. So sometimes you might want to like click here to check both. Okay, so since we scouted that, we're going to want a second gate and a cyber core. So now our choke is here. Another pylon because we don't want to get supply capped for our first 2 adepts. And a second gas because we need gas as Protoss. Our shit's expensive, okay? Now that he didn't take his third at either of these, so he's on 1 base. It's a 1 base Zerg. So usually Lings will be on their way right now and you want a Zealot coming out and chrono boosted. But again, I know it's an AI, so he's garbage. So I'm not worried about that. Oops, I used my chrono boost on warp gate instead of the gateways. Okay, well, these adepts are going to come out a little slower. I could chrono boost 1, but I have to wait on the second anyway, so that's unfortunate. Okay, so 2 gates is enough. So by this point, yeah, this is enough to hold. You can get like a shield battery here to defend. And then you win the economic league, so you get your Nexus anyway. All you needed was to get these first. That's the important thing. You don't get more gates, you just get them first. So instead of getting the Nexus and then your second gate. Alright, so F to shade towards this base. Keep A moving there. We're going to get there faster. Okay. And behind this tech, we're going to get Stargate. And 3 on this gas. I could have been building the Stargate as soon as this cyber core came up, but I forgot to put my shit on gas because I was talking. Go Mena, sorry. More pylon. Stalker at the ramp. We don't want to die. Oh no, I was supposed to show you guys how to micro these. Sorry. Okay, so shade into the back of the mineral line. Kite the army away from their mineral line is a really good thing to do. Alright, so now with this army, we want to right click on each drone. Like that. And so that should get some damage done. I got my unit softened up a bit, unfortunately, because again, I screwed up on teaching.
Research is done.
Oracle, chrono boost that out. That's the first unit usually went out. Stalker's blocking the ramp. And our second is up, so we can start cranking out probes. Off of this, we can get the Twilight. We can get another gate.
My liege, the coffers lack minerals.
And if you feel threatened again, the shield battery here helps. Some more units instead.
Where are the minerals?
We're just adapting.
There would be minerals.
Yeah, so I lost too many units there, but also adept harassing is hard in a 1 base Zerg because they usually have a lot more units than normal at the cost of not having a second base. So like right now you're very much ahead. You don't have to worry about losing too much because this Zerg hasn't even taken a second. You have 2 bases worth of money, so you're gonna start getting way ahead like nobody's business. Here, I'm gonna charge again. You can even get a second Oracle if you want, but I'll just settle for the 1 Oracle harass right now because 2 is a big investment. You hit C to use its ability, which is attack, and then right click on the drones again, do the same thing. So now we're doing a ton of damage right in front of the queen, and then we hit D to cancel it so we can get our energy back, keep getting more, and we just dip. And as soon as the shields are back up, we can go back in and keep doing more damage. Meanwhile, we should be warping in more stuff. I'm getting charged behind this. You can even get a Void Ray here. Void Ray is a good unit to have in your army.
Get some more minerals.
Couple more pylons.
Can't build that just anywhere.
And another gate. We'll have 4 gate Stargate kind of thing. We'll have charge lots. We'll have Void Ray, all that stuff. This guy wants to move out and expand now. The shields are back up on this thing, so we can come back in for some more harass if we want. And the same goes for adepts. If your adepts live in the initial attack, feel free to move back in and keep doing damage. So 3 drones killed again, and we can just dip, stuff like that. And if it makes him overcommit to static defense, like spore crawlers and stuff, that's good too. You've made him invest heavily into defense. That's not going to help him in an attack. It's just going to help against harass. So he's come back with an attack. Unfortunately, none of these units can attack air. So, I mean, hello, Void Ray. Blah, blah, blah. More of these. Charge just finished. Make another Void. And, you know, you can attack with this. You can wait for your second Void Ray and another Warp in for more units. And you can even take your third behind this.
My liege, the coffers lack minerals.
Or you could make more gates. More gates is also a good habit to get into. And then from here, we'll do a frontal attack. We'll post our units up like... So this is also a really good strat to use because distracting people is really easy in this game. There's so much to do. So like, I'm moving my army across the map right now. They're like going to be posted up outside the second base. So we take our Oracle that's still back here in the back, hit C to attack. And this is the suicide part. This is where we just start attacking things. He's going to react and move everything back. And then we move in at the front. So his whole army's back there trying to deal with this. And we've killed his second base again. And then we can move in and either kill or we can keep him denied on 2 bases. Like say he has too much. This is an AI, so of course he does not have too much. But say he has too much. Okay, cool. We at least killed the second for free. He moved his entire army back. And boom, he's broke again. We're on 3 bases. And he's still working on he's still working on his second. He hasn't even gotten his second up, so yeah. Now sometimes people will try to get away with secret bases, so it is important at this stage of the game to be like, okay, how is this guy still on 1 base? This guy, I mean, if he doesn't have a plan, why is he still in the game, right? So at this point, we want to send either a probe or a charge lot. I'll just send a charge lot, and I shift click on every base on the map that's not at his base. And I want to see what in the actual hell he's up to. So my zealot's going to be patrolling, looking at every base. Just to make sure he doesn't have any secret bases I don't know about. Because if he does, he can be up to things that I'm not even considering. And that would be bad. You can also get +1 attack at your Cyber Core too for your Void Rays if you want. That's another thing I forgot to mention. Again, this is all just like if you feel like stuff, you know. Like, again, you don't have to do any of it, but these are general things that can help you. I should be warping in this entire time too. I could be maxed out right now, as a matter of fact. But again, I've been focused on like trying to teach general concepts. Spending is a big one too, so yeah, like while I do have a lot more money, if I'm not spending it, it might be the same as if he had 2 bases right now. I got 3 bases worth of money, but if I'm letting it accumulate like this, I mean, you don't have the money until you've spent it. This is how StarCraft works. So like, my army can be better and bigger if I'm spending my money, but if I'm not, it's as if I'm at 2 bases or 1 even if I'm not spending efficiently. So that's the core concept behind that. You just want to keep spending. Make sure you keep getting more units. So I'm making a lot more voids, more charge lots. I might get some stalkers just in case.
Additional pylons.
Yeah, I could be maxed out right now with this much money. Like I'm at 149. That's not good. I should be at 200. So yeah, ways to help that is to either get a second gate, more gateways. So 2-star gates now. I can double pump out Void Rays, which is cool. Remember to keep making my pylons while I'm doing it. Chrono boost, stalker zealots. You can get blink now for the hell of it because you're rich. You're gonna need, you know, in case he has lurkers, you're gonna need observer, make a robo, 1 of each tech path, you know. And if you also want to get cheesy with it, you can tack on a DT shrine too. Okay, so that's his army, unfortunately, because it's an AI again, so that's just gonna get destroyed. Yeah, so basics. How to kill changelings, A move them. Zerg's easy way of scouting that most of them forget about. Well, all the lower rank ones at least. They're like, oh, I have no idea what the enemy's making. I have no way to find out. Have you made a changeling? No, what's that? Observer Forge is really late actually. But I mean, again, at this point, if you're fighting someone gold or below, this is already more than enough to win, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Geo batteries in the back of bases are good to protect your mineral lines and whatnot, so I get them around, you know. Keep making stuff. You have a lot of roaches. Again, you'll want immortals in this army. That's a nice to have. +1 attack is really good for zealots. So the observer's already out. We can chrono boost out a warp prism, harass with that. In the meantime, so the zealot didn't find any expansions. I sent that zealot to all those bases. So yeah, this guy has no hidden income. You can use DTs to kind of poke and prod around where places don't have detection. We can move our army out just because, I mean, we're maxed out. What are we going to do? Sit here and do nothing? Pretty much maxed out. My DTs are moving left. My army's moving right. If he had a third here, it'd be dead pretty much. Not much you can do about it.
Out of minerals. Idle workers are
yeah. Look at the DTs. They're harassing. Overseers are their detection, so usually you want to kill those to protect your DTs. Overseers are being morphed right here. You see the egg, just kill it. And boom, they can't see the DTs, except he got one down here I wasn't looking at.
mineral field depleted.
I mean, devastation, it's an AI, but general concepts again. Make stuff, do stuff. All of this I should be like making reinforcements behind this, remaxing. More voids, maybe immortals. Throw down more gates. You can take a 4th. I'm taking 5 because I won. Yeah, so that's basically how I play StarCraft. If you want more strict timings or anything like that, go ahead and ask me in stream. But this was mostly all I had time to make. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you want this to get more traction, etc. It puts it in the algorithm and whatnot. Subscribe to the channel if you've never been here before. I'm a variety streamer and I play all sorts of games. I just happen to be pretty good at this one, so that's why I was helping out all the new players. Thank you so much and have a great day.